didn't move. I kept my eyes on it. It was the same shape, too tall, too still. But this time, it was closer. So close, I could have reached out and touched it if I wanted to. I didn't want to. I whispered. I don't know why. I whispered. Who are you? The shadow didn't move. No voice. No response. But I felt something. A coldness. Like someone had opened a freezer behind me. I pulled my blanket up to my chin and didn't take my eyes off the wall until morning. When the sun came up, the shadow was gone. I told myself it was stress, work, lack of sleep. I started sleeping with my back to that wall. I faced a window instead. That way, I couldn't see the shadow even if it came. That worked for 3 nights. I slept fine. I almost convinced myself it was over. Then on the 4th night, I woke up at 2:17 a.m. I didn't open my eyes. I kept them shut. I faced a window. My back was to the wall. I was safe. I told myself I was safe. Then I felt something cold touch my shoulder. It wasn't the wind. The windows were closed. It wasn't my blanket falling. It was a pressure. Slow, deliberate. Like someone pressing a palm against my shoulder blade. I opened my eyes. I looked at the window. The streetlight was on. The room was dim. And on the window glass, I saw a reflection. Not of me, of the wall behind me. And on that wall, in the reflection, I saw the shadow. It was standing right behind me. Its hand was on my shoulder. I turned around so fast I fell off the bed. I hit the floor and scrambled backward until my back hit the opposite wall. I looked at the bed. There was nothing there. No shadow. No one. Just my blanket, my pillow, my phone. I sat there on the floor for the rest of the night. I didn't go back to bed. I didn't close my eyes. I just watched that wall, and the wall watched me back. The next day, I did something I thought was smart. I moved my bed to the opposite side of the room. Now my bed was against the wall, where the shadow used to appear. I thought, if the shadow comes, it will appear on the opposite wall. And now my back is to the window. I can see the whole room. Nothing can sneak up behind me. That night, I slept facing the room. I kept the lamp on. I kept my phone in my hand. I felt like I had won. I woke up at 2:17 a.m. The lamp was still on. The room was quiet. I looked at the wall. No shadow. I looked at the floor. No shadow. I looked at the ceiling. Nothing. I started to relax. I closed my eyes. Then I heard it. A whisper from directly above me. You moved the bed. My eyes shot open. I stared at the ceiling. And there it was. The shadow, spread across the ceiling like a stain. It was lying down, parallel to me, face to face. If shadows had faces. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. The shadow started to descend, slowly, like it was lowering itself from the ceiling. I felt the cold again, the pressure. It was coming closer, closer. I closed my eyes and screamed. I live alone in a one-room apartment on the 3rd floor of a building that forgets your name the moment you pay the rent. It's the kind of place where the walls are thin. The geyser takes 20 minutes, and the landlord only calls when the rent is late. I like that when I moved in. No questions, no neighbors knocking, just me, my phone, and a silence I thought I wanted. My room is simple. Bed in one corner, study table near the window. A single tube light that flickers when the voltage drops, which is always. And the wall opposite my bed, bare, white, empty. I never thought much about that wall until I noticed a shadow. It started on a Tuesday, a normal Tuesday. I came back from work at 9, ordered biryani on Swiggy, ate while scrolling through reels. You know how it is. You keep scrolling because stopping means you're alone with your thoughts. I fell asleep with the lights on. When I woke up at 2:17 a.m., the lights were off. I don't remember turning them off. The room was dark except for the orange glow from the street lamp outside. I reached for my phone on the bedside table. 2:17 a.m. No notifications. Nothing unusual. I was about to turn to the wall and go back to sleep when I saw it. On the wall opposite my bed, there was a shadow. A human shadow. But I was alone. The streetlight was behind me. So technically, my own shadow should have been on the wall. But this shadow wasn't mine. It was too tall, too still, and I was lying down. The shadow was standing. I stared at it for a long time. My heart started beating faster, but I told myself it was just my imagination, the angle of the light, a trick of tired eyes. I closed my eyes, counted to 10, opened them again. The shadow was closer. It was now standing at the foot of my bed, still as a photograph. I could see the outline of shoulders, a head, 2 arms at the sides, no face, just darkness shaped like a person. I sat up so fast my phone fell to the floor. The shadow didn't move. I sat there, breathing hard, watching it. It was just a shadow, a trick of light. I reached for the lamp on my bedside table and switched it on. Warm, yellow light filled the room. The shadow vanished. I laughed at myself. I really did. I lay back down, left the lamp on, and fell asleep. The next night, I made sure all the lights were on before sleeping. The tube light, the lamp, even my phone flashlight pointed at the ceiling. The room was bright like a hospital. No shadows anywhere. I felt safe. I closed my eyes and slept. I woke up at 2:17 a.m. again. I didn't check my phone. I knew the time. I don't know how. I just knew. The lights were still on, all of them. But there was a shadow on the wall, right above my bed, hanging over me like it was standing at my headboard. When I opened my eyes, the room was empty. The lamp was off. My phone was dead. I don't know how long I lay there. But when the morning came, I packed a bag and went to my parents' house. I stayed there for 2 weeks. I told them I was sick. I didn't tell them the truth. How could I? There's a shadow in my room. They would have sent me to a doctor, but I couldn't stay there forever. I had work. I had rent. So I came back. And when I opened my door, I saw that the room was exactly as I left it. Bed against the far wall, lamp on the table, tube light above. But there was something different. On the wall opposite my bed, there was a new shadow. It wasn't moving. It was just there, stuck to the wall like paint. I stared at it. It stared back. I walked to the wall and touched it. My fingers met cold plaster. No shadow, just paint. But when I pulled my hand away, my fingers were black, like they had been dipped in darkness. I wiped my hand on my jeans. The black didn't come off. I washed my hands. The water ran clear, but my fingers stayed dark. I scrubbed until my skin was red. Nothing. The shadow on my fingers wouldn't leave. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the floor with all the lights on. I watched the shadow on the wall, and the shadow watched me. At 2:17 a.m., I heard the whisper again. This time, it came from everywhere. From the walls, from the floor, from inside my own head. You can't wash me off. You can't run. I'm not in the wall. I'm in you now. I looked at my hands. The black on my fingers had spread. It was climbing up my palms, my wrists. I tried to wipe it off. I tried to scrape it. It was like it was growing under my skin. I grabbed my phone. I wanted to call someone, anyone, but my phone screen was black, not off. Black, like the shadow had crawled inside it. And on the screen I saw my own reflection, but my reflection was smiling, and in the reflection, there was no shadow on my hands, because in the reflection, I was the shadow. I dropped the phone. I ran to the bathroom. I turned on the light. I looked in the mirror. My face was mine. My hands were clean. No black, no shadow. I leaned closer to the mirror. My reflection leaned closer too. But behind my reflection, in the dark of the bathroom, I saw it, the shadow, standing behind me in the mirror. But when I turned around, there was nothing there. I turned back to the mirror. My reflection was still there, but the shadow was gone. Instead, I saw something worse. My own eyes. They were normal, brown, tired, scared. But in the reflection of my own pupils, I saw a face. Not mine. A face made of darkness. Smiling. I haven't left this room in 3 days. I don't go to work. I don't answer calls. I sit here with all the lights on, but the lights don't matter anymore, because the shadow isn't on the wall. It's in me, and at 2:17 a.m. every night, it whispers. It tells me things about myself that I never told anyone, things I forgot, things I buried. Last night, it told me something new. It said, "You're not afraid of me. You're afraid of what I know. You're afraid that I'm not a shadow. You're afraid that I'm you. The part you locked away. The part that never sleeps." I looked at my hands. They were clean, but my shadow on the wall was moving. It was waving at me, and I felt my own hand start to wave back. I'm not writing this for help. I'm writing this because I need someone to know. When you see your shadow on the wall, don't look at it. Don't talk to it. And whatever you do, don't touch it. Because once it touches you, it doesn't leave. It just waits every night at 2:17 a.m. for you to stop fighting, for you to let it in. My phone says 2:16 a.m. The lights are on. My hands are clean, but my shadow on the wall is standing, and I'm sitting. So I'll ask you the same question it asked me. When you look at your shadow tonight, how do you know it's yours?